Welcome to Inspiring People, the show about inspiring people, those who are inspired and those who inspire others. We all know them. They're good examples, they're supportive, they embrace life, they live inspiring lives in their day-to-day actions, and in turn, inspire others to do the same. Hi, welcome to Inspiring People. My name is Mary Otto. I'm the host of the show. And with me today for part 2 of our interview is Grant Johnson. Welcome back, Grant.
Glad to be back.
If you missed part 1, I hope that you'll get a chance to see it sometime. Grant talked about his years in Detroit Lakes as a superintendent, and I would guess a number of people watching the show will remember him as a superintendent here. In this segment, we're going to begin by talking about his family of origin, and also his immediate family. So let's start there. Grant, can you tell us something, please, about your mom and dad, where you were born and raised?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Two Harbors, Minnesota. It's a town of about 5,000 up on the North Shore, 20 miles from Duluth. My dad and mother came over here in 1907. They couldn't speak a word of English. And just recently, I was some places where I was quite confused and things like that. And I thought to myself, in these airports, how did my mother and dad, couldn't speak a word of English, get all the way to Two Harbors and settle there? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of remarkable that they were able to do this and not speak a word of English. Mm-hmm. We had 6 children in our family. I was next to the youngest, and my 2 older brothers, one worked in the railroad and the other one went to university and worked for Western Electric out of Chicago afterwards as an auditor. Mm-hmm. My sister went to Chicago and worked in the lingerie department at Carson Prairie Scott, a big company down there next to another big department store. I can't remember the name, but very famous. Mm-hmm. So, and then I have 5 children, mm-hmm. 4 girls and 1 boy. Okay. And I'm quite proud of them. They all graduated from college and are doing very well. And
I imagine then that you have some grandchildren. And I have 5 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild, and I'm expecting another one in October. Oh, fun. So I'm pretty proud of that, too. Absolutely. And where do your family members live? Are they in the area? Or?
Oh, yeah. My 3 daughters live next to me down in Florida. My wife had Alzheimer's. So they said, Dad, bring her down here and we'll help you. We'll help you at night and you can take care of her in the daytime. And it worked out real fine. Mm-hmm. And one of my sons lives in Anoka, and my other daughter is married to a lawyer in Des Moines, Iowa. Mm-hmm. Let's see. And Kathy, my oldest daughter, is the one that kind of promotes all these things that I get honors for.
I see. She knows. I've met her now, and she's certainly proud of her father, and wants everybody else to know, too. I think that's just great. Yeah. So I understand that in the first segment we talked about his school years and so on, but there are a couple of things that, he was very involved in different activities and so on. So there are a couple of things I'd like to pick up on, if it's okay with you, and, have you share with the viewers. So when you were in school, I understand that you were in high school. I understand you were a class officer. Is that right?
I was a president of my class for 4 years. I don't know. Maybe it was because I was a workaholic, but we had 128 in the class, and they elected me class president, which I was very proud of. Mm-hmm. Freshman, sophomore, senior, senior year, yeah.
That really is that really is something when you stop and think about it. It certainly is. And along with your prowess in sports, and you were in, what'd you say, basketball? And
primarily basketball, yeah. Okay.
You were also in some football. Didn't you play baseball, too, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. In high school, I won over 16 letters or scholarships, whatever you want to call them. I loved baseball the most, but we didn't have a baseball team in high school. We had to play for the American Legion. But I played football, basketball, and football. Mm-hmm. And in basketball, I was one of the first fellows that ever played 5 years as a regular. I started in 8th grade. And I think because of my height, I wasn't that talented. But I loved it. I kind of ate it, so to speak, night and day.
Ate it up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but you did become quite a sports hero of sorts, well known for your sports, particularly in basketball, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. Where did you first start playing? Did you start when you went to college? I mean, you played in high school, but then did you continue in college?
Yeah, well, I went to Gustavus. My mother, Gustavus Adolphus, we belonged to the Swedish Lutheran Church, and she wanted me to go to Gustavus Adolphus. And I had gotten 22 scholarships, and so I accepted that one. And I went there. And I was very fortunate to have 4 or 5 other fine basketball players, and we won the championship that year, beating Hamline University, the first time we'd ever beaten them in 10 years. And so I was selected as a guard on the All-State team. But I was bored at Gustavus. There wasn't anything to do there. We didn't have a place, a community hall or anything, so I didn't want to go back to Gustavus, and I didn't. So that summer, Lloyd Stein, who was the trainer at the University of Minnesota, head trainer, came to see me. He says, Fad, if you want to go to the university, you can work for me and I'll get you a job. Well, I didn't have any money, so boy, that sounded great. And so I reported to the university on September the 16th, 2 weeks before school, because Bernie Bierman had secret practices. And they were going to play the first game on the 28th of September, 3 days before school opened.
And Bernie Bierman, excuse me, he was the coach, the football coach at the time?
He was the coach, and we just won a national championship the year before. And the job was that I was supposed to tape ankles till we got 110 kids taped. Then I'd go and watch a place called the Runway going out to the practice field. And this was kind of interesting because the first day, 5 journalists from the Minneapolis Trib and the Star Journal came up the aisle. There was everybody but Halsey Hall. There was Dick Cullum, and there was Charlie Johnson, and there was this young fellow that's still writes for him. I'll get his name in a little while.
Okay.
Well, in a way, I said to the fellows in a nice way, I said, gee, fellas, I can't let you in. Bernie Bierman has secret practice. Well, I said, but if you go upstairs in Cook Hall and look out of the library, you can see the whole practice field. Boy, they thanked me profusely. So that I got rid of them, so to speak. The next day, Ken Haycraft, who was an All-American end, and I recognized him, came up the runway, and I thought, well, he's not going to cause any problems, so I let him in. After practice, the assistant coach came to see me and said, say, Spike, why'd you let Ken Haycraft in? I said, geez, he was an All-American. He isn't going to tell our place to anybody or give out any secret information. He said, yeah, but he coaches a team down to Loring Park on Sundays, and he's stealing all our plays. Well, the only 2 plays that Bierman ever had that I knew was hut 1 to the right and hut 1 to the left. He never threw a pass, and he had All-American ends. He had fellas like Ray King and Dominic Karnowski, Ray Antill, Butch Nash, Bud Grant, and a young kid out from northeast Minneapolis, a tough little kid by the name of Swice. And we had terrific ends, but they never caught a pass because they never threw one.
Never threw. It wasn't part of hut to the left or hut to the right, huh?
That's right, that's right.
Well, I know that, and I hate to interrupt him right now, but our time is up for this segment, but we're going to leave you with this kind of tantalizing here at the end about what other fun things that Grant has to tell us about his years at the University of Minnesota. So please join us for part 3.